My parents invited me for dinner, only to say there will leaves everything to my siblings. My response shocked them. Want to know the truth that I'm Evelyn Carter, a 32-year-old financial planner in a cozy Raleigh, North Carolina apartment, where summers soar to 90 degrees Fahrenheit and winters drop to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Each morning, I brew dark roast coffee, analyze investment portfolios at my desk, and drive 6 miles to my office, securing clients' futures with precision. My career, built on a UNC Chapel Hill degree, is my pride, forged through late nights and relentless dedication. But my family never valued it. To them, I'm the invisible provider, clad in simple blouses with no flair, always footing their bills. My younger twin brothers, Nathan and Lucas, 5 years my junior, are their golden boys, indulged despite reckless spending and aimless pursuits. Growing up in our suburban home, 10 miles from downtown Raleigh, I learned early that love was unevenly distributed. Nathan and Lucas, with their easy charm and endless excuses, were the stars of every family gathering. At Christmas, relatives swarmed them, exclaiming, "Nathan, your new major sounds promising," or "Lucas, that car vlog? So cool." Their laughter filled the dining room, their presence magnetic. Me? I was a shadow in family photos, barely acknowledged. If anyone mentioned me, it was a vague, "Evelyn's good with money," as if my achievements were trivial. I believed if I worked hard, stayed quiet, and carried their burdens, my parents, David and Margaret Carter, would one day see me with the same pride they lavished on my brothers. But their eyes stayed on them, their praise reserved for their every misstep. The disparity was stark. I recall one Thanksgiving at 16, seated at our walnut table, the air rich with turkey and Margaret's cornbread. Nathan and Lucas, then 11, each got $300 smartphones, their cheers echoing as relatives clapped. David handed them $100 gift cards, saying, "You're our future, boys." My gift? A $25 calculator with a note, "For Evelyn, keep studying." Margaret smiled, "You're so responsible, Evelyn. You don't need much." I nodded, throat tight, and retreated to my room, the sting of being an afterthought cutting deep. That was the pattern, their failures excused, my successes expected. Family gatherings deepened the divide. The twins' high school graduation, in our backyard 5 miles from town, was a spectacle, catered barbecue, a DJ, a banner proclaiming Nathan and Lucas's triumph. Their 21st birthday brought a weekend trip to Myrtle Beach, 170 miles away, with seafood feasts and a rented condo. My milestones? Quiet dinners with store-bought pie, maybe a good job, Evelyn, if I pressed. When I earned my degree, Margaret said, "Couldn't you work closer? The boys need the car." My first job securing $1 million portfolios? David nodded, "That's far. Drive us to appointments." No pride, just demands. I told myself it was fine. In America, family means sacrifice, showing up even when it's tough. I believed if I gave enough time, money, heart, they'd see me beyond the dependable daughter. I was proud of managing $5 million in assets, valuing self-respect earned through meticulous planning. But my family didn't care. They never asked about the portfolios I built, the clients I won, or the thrill of financial strategy. When I mentioned my job, David grunted, "Sounds stressful," before praising Nathan's latest major switch or Lucas's vlog. The imbalance wasn't just emotional, it was financial. At 20, I worked at a bank, walking 4 miles to save for college. Nathan and Lucas, at 15, got $1,500 laptops from Margaret for school, used for gaming. For a decade, I propped up their home, $38,400 total, $1,900 monthly for their mortgage, $22,800 yearly, $10,000 for medical bills, $5,600 for Nathan's tuition and Lucas's car. They never asked if I could afford it, just said, "The boys are struggling. Can you help?" I did, quietly, thinking it was temporary. At family dinners, their potential dominated, their vlogs lauded. If I spoke, the conversation shifted, my words fading. Nathan teased, "Evelyn's the bank," and Margaret laughed, but their dismissal masked a truth: I was invisible unless they needed funds. The deepest wound came last year, during a 40 degrees Fahrenheit winter, 10 miles from home. Lucas needed $2,000 for a car, and I paid it. I showed Margaret my promotion, hoping for a nod. She sighed, "That's nice, Evelyn," before gushing over Nathan's new major. I pressed, "What about me?" Her eyes were cold. "You're fine, Evelyn. The boys need us." That moment broke my hope. I wasn't their daughter like Nathan and Lucas. I was their financier, ignored when love was shared. In America, family should be a haven, but mine was a ledger of debts. I hoped for were proud, Evelyn, but that hope was a chain I bore too long. The scent of pot roast and garlic bread wafted through the kitchen of my parents' suburban Raleigh home, 10 miles from my apartment, as I sat on a white wooden chair, facing David, Margaret, and my twin brothers, Nathan and Lucas. The 70 degrees Fahrenheit evening air was warm, but a cold tension gripped the room. The dining table, once a place of childhood laughter, felt alien, the atmosphere thick with unease. Nathan and Lucas leaned back, smirking with triumph, while my parents exchanged a glance. Margaret's voice, measured and deliberate, cut through the silence. "We want to talk about an important decision." I set my fork down, a knot forming in my chest. David spoke, his tone steady but stripped of warmth. "We've finalized our will. We want you to hear it from us to avoid confusion." Nathan crossed his arms, a smug grin spreading. "Everything goes to us," he declared, voice laced with victory. I froze, breath catching. "What?" Lucas echoed, casual as if mentioning a trivial fact. "Mom and Dad are leaving the house, the beach condo, all assets to us. You get nothing." Silence enveloped the room, broken only by faint traffic hum from the quiet street outside. I turned to Margaret, desperate for a rebuttal, but she nodded firmly. "It's for the best," she said, clutching her napkin. "You have a stable career, a solid income. Nathan and Lucas are still finding their way. They need more support." A surge of pain, sharp and searing, mixed with rising anger in my chest. I'd given $38,400 over a decade, $1,900 monthly for their mortgage, $22,800 yearly, $10,000 for medical bills, $5,600 for Nathan's tuition and Lucas's car, yet they'd erased me from their legacy. "So, after everything I've done, I don't deserve anything?" I asked, voice trembling but edged with defiance. Margaret sighed, her eyes flashing disappointment. "Evelyn, you always make it about money." I clenched my fists beneath the table, betrayal cutting deep. "It's not about money," I retorted, struggling to keep calm. "It's about fairness. I've been there every time you needed me, $22,800 a year for the mortgage, $10,000 for your surgeries, $5,600 for their mistakes, and now I'm worthless because I don't rely on you?" Nathan laughed, shaking his head. "You're being dramatic. No one forced you to help. You loved playing the martyr." Lucas chuckled, amusement glinting in his eyes. "Maybe you thought throwing money at us would make Mom and Dad love you as much as us." His words hit like a physical blow, slicing through my composure. I turned to my parents, expecting them to correct him, to denounce his cruelty, but they remained silent. David stared at his water glass, avoiding my gaze. Margaret's lips tightened, offering no defense. Their silence was a louder verdict than the will, confirming my role, a financier, not a daughter. I swallowed hard, pain swelling in my throat, but forced myself steady. "All right," I said, voice even despite my pounding heart. "If that's your decision, I have one too." Nathan raised an eyebrow, smirking. "Oh, what's that?" I stood, pushing my chair back, my resolve hardening. "From now on, don't expect anything from me." I turned from the table, their stunned faces blurring as I walked out. The pot roast's warmth, once comforting, felt hollow. No one called my name, no one followed. I stepped into the 70 degrees Fahrenheit night, the door clicking shut with finality, severing a tie I'd clung to too long. Driving the 10 miles home, I skipped the radio, needing silence to process. Hadn't I always known I was their safety net, not their child? In my apartment, I sank onto the couch, hands shaking as I opened my banking app. The numbers glared, $1,900 monthly for their mortgage, $1,200 for Nathan and Lucas's whims, $38,400 total over a decade. I'd covered their bills, their errors, believing it would earn their love. Now, they'd chosen my brothers, leaving me nothing. My finger hovered over cancel transfer, pulse racing. For years, I'd shouldered this burden, but their choice, to value Nathan and Lucas's needs over my sacrifice, released me. I clicked. The notification read, recurring payments stopped. A relief flooded me, mingled with anger and grief, lifting a decade's weight from my shoulders. The next morning, Margaret called, voice sharp. "Evelyn, did you cancel the payment?" I inhaled deeply. "Yes, Mom. I'm done." She paused, then snapped, "Family supports each other. We need that money for bills." I gripped the phone, steady. "Family only matters when I'm paying. I've given enough, but I'm nothing to you." Her voice rose, "You're selfish, Evelyn. It's not about money." I laughed, bitter. "If it's not, let Nathan and Lucas pay." Silence stretched. "You've changed," she said, cold. "This isn't the Evelyn I raised." I closed my eyes. "This is me, Mom, but you never saw me." I hung up, heart firm. In America, family is about love and fairness, but mine saw me as a bank. I'd valued self-respect, built through $5 million portfolios, but they cherished my brother's failures. Their silence at the table, their choice to erase me, wasn't about money, it was about love they withheld. Canceling $1,900, $1,200, I shed their expectations, stepping into a life where I wasn't just the one who paid. The night air was crisp outside my Raleigh apartment, 10 miles from my parents' home, as I sat on the couch, staring at my banking app, the canceled transfers, $1,900 monthly for their mortgage, $1,200 for Nathan and Lucas, staring back. The 70 degrees Fahrenheit warmth inside couldn't ease the chill in my chest after David and Margaret's announcement. There will left everything to my brothers, nothing to me. I'd given $38,400 over a decade, $22,800 yearly for their mortgage, $10,000 for medical bills, $5,600 for Nathan's tuition and Lucas's car, yet they'd erased me, prioritizing my brother's needs. Their messages, "you're selfish, you're destroying us," flooded in after I cut support, but the betrayal ran deeper. They'd treated me as an ATM, not a daughter, their love reserved for Nathan and Lucas's failures. I'd been the Carter family's backbone, keeping their home afloat through financial storms. For 10 years, I'd sent $38,400, working overtime to cover their bills, sacrificing dreams to fund their lives. Each payment was a plea for their love, a belief my $5 million portfolios would earn their pride. But David's silence and Margaret's "you make it about money" at that dinner table revealed a brutal truth: I was a tool, not family. The pain wasn't new, it was a wound reopened, raw and searing, from years of being unseen beside my brother's indulged mistakes. Nathan and Lucas squandered thousands, Nathan on failed majors, Lucas on a car for vlogs, yet Margaret excused them, they're finding their way. I'd sent $22,800 yearly while they flaunted $200 sneakers, my nights spent crunching numbers. The deepest hurt came from their dismissal of my sacrifice. Margaret's "you're abandoning us" ignored the $38,400 I'd given, demanding more. David's "family is family" framed my contributions as duty, not love. Nathan's "you're a traitor" and Lucas's "you'll regret this" mocked my stand, as if their lifestyles weren't built on my labor. They'd never asked, "Evelyn, are you okay?" They called when bills loomed, when Nathan needed tuition, when Lucas wanted a car. But when I needed them, when I craved a place in their will, they chose my brothers. The betrayal wasn't just the will, it was the realization I'd been a resource, valued only when their potential fell short. In America, family is a sanctuary where effort meets love. I'd clung to that, valuing self-respect through late nights and flawless portfolios, believing my sacrifices would matter. But I was wrong. I'd given $38,400, walked 4 miles to work in 40 degrees Fahrenheit rain, poured my heart into a career, and they'd never said, "we're proud." Their messages, "you've changed," twisted my role as provider into betrayal. I'd skipped vacations, worked through exhaustion, yet they expected more, offering no gratitude. The wound was a void, eroding the hope I'd held for their love. I recalled every moment my brothers were exalted, Nathan's major switches ambitious, Lucas's vlogs creative, while my degree was met with, "work closer for them." At dinners, 5 miles from home, relatives lauded their antics while my portfolios got, "that's nice." I'd given $38,400, my youth, my dreams, and never heard thanks untied to another demand. As I sat in my 75 degrees Fahrenheit apartment, their betrayal crystallized. They'd taken my money, my heart, and cast me out. The pain wasn't just a will, it was losing the illusion I'd ever been their daughter. The Raleigh night was warm at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but a storm brewed inside my apartment, 10 miles from my parents' home, as I stared at my banking app, the canceled transfers, $1,900 monthly for their mortgage, $1,200 for Nathan and Lucas, marking my stand. David and Margaret's will, leaving everything to my brothers, had shattered me, dismissing my $38,400 sacrifice, $22,800 yearly, $10,000 medical bills, $5,600 for siblings. Their messages, "you're selfish, you're destroying us," piled up, but Lucas's vandalism, sealing my door with industrial foam, pushed me to a breaking point. 3 weeks after cutting support, a family meeting summons arrived. In their living room, facing their accusations, I set a boundary, reclaiming my life. I'd ignored their calls as Margaret's "we need the money," Nathan's "traitor," Lucas's "you'll regret this," letting them stack unanswered. The police, holding Lucas's vandalism footage, awaited my decision to press charges. I'd given $38,400, believing family was sacred, but their will proved I was their ATM. At the meeting, tension choked the air. Nathan and Lucas sat, arms crossed, eyes cold. David stood by the fireplace, Margaret in an armchair, eyes red. Before I spoke, Margaret's voice trembled. Evelyn, how far will you go to destroy us? I frowned. What? David sighed, you've put us in financial ruin. Your mother's breaking down. I laughed, humorless. I'm the reason Mom's exhausted? What about the years I paid $22,800 yearly, $10,000 for your surgeries, while she was fine? Nathan scoffed, you always make it about money. The world doesn't revolve around you. Lucas leaned forward, defiant, you've got a cushy job. Why make a fuss? You're just selfish. Their words stung, but I'd come hoping for honesty, not manipulation. I stood, voice steady, if this is why I'm here, don't waste my time. I'm not coming back. Margaret's face paled. What? I looked around the house, once home. I've done everything to be family, but if my worth is only my money, I don't need that love. I walked out, their silence deafening, the door closing with finality. Back home, I found my door sealed with foam, Lucas's vandalism. I called the police, handing over security footage. Do you want to press charges? An officer asked. I gripped my phone, resolute. I want him held accountable. The next day, David called, furious. Lucas was questioned by police. How could you? I replied, calm, he vandalized my home. He pays $3,000 for damages, or I press charges. David snapped, extortion. I chuckled, dry. It's consequences. A $3,000 transfer arrived, Lucas's note bitter, never see you again. I felt nothing, their rejection a release. Their lies spread online, Margaret's Facebook post, Evelyn abandoned us in need, comments vilified me, asterisk ungrateful daughter, money corrupted her. Asterisk anger flared, not at strangers, but at their narrative, omitting my $38,400, Lucas's vandalism. I posted the truth, every $22,800 yearly, $5,600 for siblings, my role as their bank, not daughter. I detailed Lucas's crime, my police report. I didn't abandon them, I wrote. They never saw me unless I paid. Now I choose myself. The post exploded, relatives questioning, an aunt confirming my support. Margaret called, livid, you're humiliating us. Your father's ashamed, Nathan and Lucas hurt. I stayed calm. Did they consider me when Lucas vandalized my home? When I paid your bills? She went cold, you're no longer family. I replied, you destroyed this family, Mom, and hung up. In America, family is about love and fairness, but mine saw me as a bank. I'd valued self-respect, built through $5 million portfolios, but they valued my brother's flops. Their will, their lies, their vandalism weren't about money, it was love they denied. Canceling $1,900, $1,200, exposing their actions, I shed their chains. The silence after Margaret's call was freedom, not loss. I wasn't their financier anymore, but Evelyn Carter, choosing a life where my worth wasn't tied to their demands. The Raleigh summer hummed at 85 degrees Fahrenheit outside my apartment, 10 miles from my parents' foreclosed home, as I sipped iced tea, the 75 degrees Fahrenheit coolness wrapping me in peace. My stand, cutting $38,400 in support, $22,800 yearly mortgage, $10,000 medical bills, $5,600 for siblings, after their will excluded me, ignited chaos. My public post, exposing their lies and Lucas's vandalism, went viral, dismantling their narrative of me as the selfish daughter. David, Margaret, Nathan, and Lucas faced ruin, their pleas, asterisk you're destroying us, asterisk, unanswered. As their world collapsed, I felt no urge to save them. Their downfall was swift. Margaret's guilt-tripping posts vanished, her silence stark after my exposé. David's calls, asterisk you're no longer family, asterisk, stopped, his pride crushed. Nathan and Lucas's taunts, asterisk traitor, regret this, asterisk, faded, their social media dormant. Neighbors, 5 miles from downtown, whispered about their lost home, relatives distanced themselves, and Raleigh's tight-knit community, once charmed by my brother's potential, scorned their deceit. Aunt Laura called, Evelyn, it's bad. Your parents are broke, Nathan's jobless, Lucas is drifting. I nodded, unsurprised. The family that cast me out faced the cost of their choices. The house, a $400,000 anchor I'd sustained, was their ruin. Without my $22,800 yearly, the mortgage defaulted. Listings appeared, 123 Oak Street, $350,000, urgent, Laura texted, no buyers. Roofs leaking, pipes burst. The $10,000 I'd paid for repairs, $1,900 monthly, wasted, neglected by my brother's inaction. The home, once alive with Christmas feasts and Myrtle Beach trips 170 miles away, stood empty, a symbol of their favoritism, abandoned, decaying, with no one to fix it. Nathan and Lucas faced the harshest fallout. Nathan, fired for poor performance, drifted jobless. Lucas's influencer dreams fizzled, his vlogs ignored. Laura said, they're scrambling, living off odd jobs. I sipped my tea, unmoved. They, who'd taken $5,600 while I sent $38,400, learned the instability they'd coasted through, their charm useless in the 85 degrees Fahrenheit heat. David and Margaret suffered most. David worked night shifts at a warehouse, Margaret cleaned houses hourly, their health fading. Laura noted, they're exhausted, selling heirlooms. The family that excluded me crumbled under their own weight. Family traditions, Thanksgiving dinners, beach escapes, ended. Relatives, who'd praised my brother's flops, stopped calling, their silence louder than past cheers. My cousin Emma, 15 miles away in Kerry, texted, Evelyn, they're done. Your post woke everyone. I replied, they woke themselves. I showed the truth. Her silence echoed their collapse. Margaret's post, blaming me, was drowned by my $38,400 truth. David's call, we've lost everything, went unanswered. I'd given $38,400, endured exhaustion, and they'd erased me. Their pleas couldn't undo their lies. The fallout wasn't just financial, it was social. David and Margaret, blind to my brother's failures, faced enabling them. Lucas's vandalism, costing $3,000, was their legacy's stain. They blamed me, their anger a shield, but I didn't carry it. I'd given $38,400, my time, my heart, and they'd given me a will that excluded me. Now, they learned family ties break when built on exploitation. As their house sat unsold, I felt release, not guilt. I'd stopped being their bank, and the freedom was sweeter than any family tie. The Raleigh autumn glowed at 65 degrees Fahrenheit outside my apartment, 10 miles from my parents' lost home, as I sat sketching by a sunlit window, the 70 degrees Fahrenheit warmth cradling me. 6 months after David and Margaret's will excluded me for Nathan and Lucas, their betrayal, ignoring my $38,400, $22,800 yearly mortgage, $10,000 medical bills, faded. I'd cut support, exposed their lies and Lucas's vandalism online, and stood firm against their pleas, you're selfish, you're no family. Their world of foreclosure, Nathan's joblessness, Lucas's drift, collapsed, but in my haven, I found peace, choosing myself over a family that never chose me. I embraced my routine, the apartment's light warming me as I analyzed portfolios. My job, 6 miles away, thrived, my $5 million portfolio's a testament to grit. I'd been their fixer, $38,400 for their home, $5,600 for siblings, but their will freed me. That betrayal, Margaret's you make it about money, forged a boundary, opening a life where I mattered. I redirected the $1,900 monthly to savings, booking a trip to Florence, Italy, 4,700 miles away, where 60 degrees Fahrenheit cobblestone streets sparked my sketching. I joined a book club 2 miles away, debating novels with strangers turned friends. I bought a $1,500 camera, a dream shelved for their bills, its lens a rebellion against $25 calculators I'd accepted as a teen. My phone stayed silent, no more rants from Nathan, pleas from Margaret, or demands from David. The silence was liberation. I'd believed family was sacred, but mine proved otherwise. True family is respect, not blood. I found it in new places. Aunt Diane, 10 miles away, hosted me for dinner, her hug warm, I'm proud, Evelyn. Neighbor Clara shared her peach cobbler, urging me to join her art walks. These bonds, built on care, filled the void my family left. Work became my sanctuary. I landed a $7 million client deal, my strategies shaping futures. I mentored interns at a community center, their drive mirroring mine. My blog on toxic family ties grew, readers writing, you inspired me. I healed others and myself. The Carters' world shattered. Their $400,000 house, unsold at $350,000, was foreclosed, its burst pipes, once my $1,900 fix, a relic. Nathan drifted, Lucas's vlogs failed, Aunt Laura noting, they're lost. Margaret cleaned houses, David labored nights, their pride gone. Family traditions, Christmas feasts, Myrtle Beach trips 170 miles away, ended, their home a memory. Margaret's call, we're struggling, came too late. I saved it, unheeded, with old photos, not from anger but clarity. I didn't hate them, I lacked strength to give without value. Nathan's you're dead to us faded, ignored. I'd given $38,400, endured sleepless nights, and they'd excluded me. Their consequences weren't my fault, they'd chosen my brother's flops over my effort. Laura texted, "They're gone, Evelyn. House lost." I nodded, the house a shed burden. I joined a hiking group 8 miles away, laughter over trails forging kin. I volunteered at a financial literacy program, shielding others from my family's traps. In Florence, I met Alex, a designer whose warm smile saw me, not my wallet. We wandered markets, shared gelato, his presence a gift needing no payment. Under Italy's night sky, I realized I didn't need my family's love, I could create my own. Back in Raleigh, I hosted Christmas with Diane and friends, their laughter truer than any family dinner. I stood on my balcony, city lights twinkling, and knew I'd chosen right. I was Evelyn Carter, who learned true family uplifts, not drains. Their betrayal, $38,400 dismissed, set me free. I lived for myself, and that was enough. As Evelyn Carter, I poured $38,400 into my family's survival, $22,800 yearly for their mortgage, $5,600 for my brother's whims, believing it would earn their love, only to be cut from their will, everything left to Nathan and Lucas. Their betrayal, dismissing my sacrifices while coddling my brother's failures, revealed I was just their ATM, not a daughter. For 32 years, I was the invisible provider, my $5 million career ignored as Nathan and Lucas were praised. Cutting their funds and exposing their lies, I learned family isn't blood, it's respect. Their accusations, "You're selfish," tried to guilt me, but I found peace in my Raleigh apartment, surrounded by true friends like Alex. To you, Americans who cherish family, don't let loyalty blind you to exploitation. If your family values your money over your worth, set boundaries. Your value isn't their approval, it's your strength. Don't repeat my decade of giving to those who take without thanks. Say no when it's unfair, it's not betrayal, it's self-worth. Build a circle that cheers your wins, friends, mentors, chosen kin. Perseverance isn't carrying others' burdens, it's walking toward those who uplift you. I chased "we're proud" too long. Start now, demand respect, live for yourself, and find freedom in being enough.